All right, so I thought the meeting was recording already, so I already did the homework. I'm going to do it again so you guys can see it. Okay, so here's what we got. Let's start by taking a look at a little bit further back. I'm going to stop it here. So what we're looking at is these are hourly candles, 60-minute candles. These are only showing candles from the regular trading hours, from 9 a.m. to 2:30. All right, each one of these white lines, these vertical white lines, is 9 a.m. And what we're looking at here, we're currently trading at the low of day yesterday, right near the low of day. And so what we're looking at is, you'll notice all these lines on here. The red horizontal lines are a previous swing low or a previous swing high. I don't differentiate. I probably should change the swing highs to green, but that's okay. For now, if it's a dashed line like this, then it's a previous swing low or swing high. So you can see this was a previous swing low. We drew a dashed line on that. And we'll come back here. Let me pull up my little drawing tool. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to put one in right on this swing line. And the reason I'm doing this is because the lines I draw on here will get carried over to my other charts, the charts that I'm going to be looking at while I'm trading. So at this point, I've drawn in all the areas that matter to me. So some VPOCs, microcomposite VPOCs, previous swings. Now this guy here was a previous swing from this day before this day. Let me see if I can change this to a print pointer. This horizontal dashed line came off of this previous swing down here. I'm going to leave it on here for now to see if when we come back up to it holds. See if it holds its resistance. If it doesn't, if we blow through it again, then I'm going to pull this off because it's really no longer something that matters to me. So the dotted lines are former VPOCs, not necessarily naked VPOCs. I'm going to have to figure out a way to change that because there are also naked VPOCs, but that's okay. Dotted lines are former VPOCs, and the lines that are dashed and dot or dash and two dot is microcomposite VPOCs. I don't draw any of the composite VPOC or HVN or LVN. I don't draw any of those high volume nodes or low volume nodes yet. I probably will be adding that to it as well, but for now. So let's take a look. Currently, we're trading 51.89. We are below the low of day yesterday. So what that means is we're opening out of value, out of range. Oh wait, sorry, hang on. I might be wrong about that. Okay, sorry. We were trading at 51.97, 51.98. So what that what that's telling us is we're opening up inside range, but outside value. And if you could take a look, let's make this bigger. So here's yesterday's profile. Okay, that's right here. And right now we would be opening down here, somewhere around here, and we would be below the value area low. So we're outside of yesterday's value, but we're within yesterday's range. So when that happens, a couple things. Let's talk about what we look for. So the first expectation for us, first expectation for us right now is going to be that we're going to open, push towards. So let's draw this out. We're going to open, push towards yesterday's value area low. If it maybe slow down, I would expect in my first expectation a test of yesterday's VPOC, kind of slow down around here, and then a move back down. This is my first hypothesis. That doesn't mean it's not the most likely. It's just one of them. Second one is going to be same thing where we open. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we open in the up. We open heading up. Find a couple of areas to slow down, get to yesterday's VPOC, chop around, and then ultimately it holds. We start heading up towards this area here. Uh, clear reverse. Okay. So we open, trend our way up, get to yesterday's VPOC, break it, test it again, it holds, and then we head up towards 5290, even slightly above that here, coming up towards this micro composite VPOC. This will be number 2. Okay. Number Hypothesis number 3. Oh, listen, that little squeak. Hypothesis number 3 is going to be where we start heading up. We find resistance at about 52.15. Start making our way down towards yesterday's low. We break yesterday's low, test it, it holds, and then we start trading down. And if that is the hypothesis that plays out, I'll draw it one more time. So we open, find some resistance, come below yesterday's low, test, hold, and make our way down towards these two former VPOCs and this high volume node on the composite. Just keep in mind, this could act as support down here, this low volume node, so we might not necessarily get all the way down here, or we could see something where we come down, touch. All right, so we're open for the day. At this point, I'm going to stop my homework, only because I've done it already, and I'm sorry that I didn't record the whole thing, but let's start watching. Okay, so we've opened. We came up towards VPOC from overnight. And remember, the first thing we're going to look for, if it decides to push this bars, we're going to look at this 52.12 swing low from a few days ago. We're going to see if that gets any reaction. Didn't quite get that far, so we're actually going to look to see if maybe this sets up for a short opportunity here. Not yet. Not yet. And it may not at all. We don't want to jump the gun. We're not looking to we're not looking to do anything without proper setup, but we do want to be ready to respond when the setup presents itself. Okay, here we go. Push through that swing low. Remember, one of the hypotheses was we would come push through the swing low, maybe give us a chance to retest it. It could hold, and if it holds, then we're going to make our way up towards 52.34. It does not have to come back to test it. Does not have to come see if it'll hold. Remember also that we've opened right above yesterday's low, so there is no gap. But yesterday's close, yesterday's close is also beneath us, is down here. So we opened positive. Two potential magnets for us to want to come back to and test. So let's see here. Now we're coming back. We're slowing down a little bit. At this point, we have three levels that matter to us here. Previous swing, VWAP is this dash and dot yellow line in the middle of the day, which right now is covered up by other words. But middle of the day basically means you take the low of the day, you take the high of the day, whatever that is, add those two together, divide it by 2. That's the middle of the day. Right now, there's also something in here called the opening range mid, and that's the first 5 minutes of trading. So for now, they're the exact same thing since we're within the first 5 minutes of trading. Okay, so we have again a bit of a slowdown here. Back down to test. Definitely looking for a good trade setup here. How this candle looks like it's going to be closing. So, now, what I'd like to see on this candle, in order to verify that my entry is valid, is a push up. We're going to move up stop out of here. From a scaling in perspective, well, first one is here at 15. We would be willing to take more down here. Now, at that point, we kind of hold off a little bit. So what I'm doing here is I always assume the VWAP in the middle of the day are going to be respected levels of support and resistance. And for now, since we're above it, it will be considered support. So here's VWAP, here's middle of the day. Until proven otherwise, right? So if we see that this does not hold and just kind of trades right through it, then we'll know that for now it is not considered valid. But we for at the beginning of the day, until proven otherwise, we expect it to hold. One of the other things that we're looking at right now is that there is no divergence in the 610 or the 987. No, I'm not sure that. You can see as I hover over this last candle, and you look at those BBs there, as we came up to this first high here, and then we are now attempting to get higher. We don't show any type of negative divergence. We still show a positive there. So let's look at some potential profit targets. We have a couple of ways that we can do that. We can go for Fibonacci extension. Yeah. Here, that's way out there. That's so we're going to pass on that one. We're going to use what our originally anticipated price point was. This microcomposite epoch that we saw from the homework. So this is 34. We'll come in at 32. At this point, it's just a matter of being patient, potentially even looking for an opportunity to add into my position, not necessarily by having it come back and get me in down here, but there are other trade setups that could happen. For example, one of them might be happening right here, where we get a little pullback. We don't come back far enough to get me into a position, and we create what's called a second entry long. I'm not going to get into much of that right now, but what I don't like all that much is I don't like that we're trying to trade against the high of the day. So I don't think I would be taking a second entry long. Basically, what that would mean is that I'm trying to take a trade in the direction of the trend, which I am, I am the direction of the trend. As this came down, but I took what's called a limit order. I took an order as it pulled down to a level. That's where I wanted to get in. a trade with trend here in the direction of the trend would be like this. So now we're coming up, and I would put an order, let's just say up here, that if we push, I don't really want to do that because I don't want to have my entry so close to the high of the day, just in case the high of the day holds. So right now I'm at an entry point that I like, and like I said, I am willing. In fact, I'm going to yeah, I'm I'm going to leave this other order in here for now. But what's happening is the VWAP is slowly creeping up, which is good. We want to see that. And if we break this high of day, we will change what the current middle of the day is. Let me try to find some lozenges here. So again, not really much to do at this point. Not crazy about the fact that we've created at this point a lower high. So right now we have from the opening low, high, higher, low. As of right now, a lower high. Of course, we need this to become a higher high. We need it to break this previous high in order for it to become a profitable trade. And this is, for me, the hardest part of trading. This is the patience. But for now, there's really nothing here to um, tell me to want to get out of the trade. Everything is, we're trading above the VWAP. We're trading above the this moving average here. We're holding above this spot here that we were looking at. And if you remember one of our hypotheses, we were going to come up. We're going to test yesterday's value area low, which we did not get to. That's 52.24. Oh, sorry, we got there almost to the tick. That we're going to test yesterday's value area low, rotate down, see if this will become support, and then make a push towards this microcomposite VPOC. Yeah. Even though we've kind of stagnated here, we're not creating any type of divergence yet in the 610, 987, or 1597. That reminds me, there's something I want to do. I want to try to find a way to get another chart up here, a bigger chart. So I'm going to mess around with some stuff. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah. That's still good. Before I mess around too much. So this, then I don't need this one. Excuse me. Okay. It's still working its way. That's pretty good. So we retested the high day while I was futzing around with that. Retested the high day. We held. Still no no divergence down here. No divergence in the 907. No divergence 1597. All right. So still so far so good. I'd like to see us break this high now. No more testing. Just a break. Clean break and push. Thank you. All right, so since we are now up 10 ticks in our trade, no longer going to try to get into it down there. Move our stop price. Break even. +1. So at this point, we're in a risk-free trade. Some of the stuff that I've been looking at and reading and trying to add to my own learning is I don't want my stop price there. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. No, I don't. So the reason I don't is this. So some of the stuff I've been looking at there's a lot of information out there that talks about yes I do. I'm not gonna let a good trade go bad. And a break even trade is a good trade. Of course, we'd rather make money on a trade, but any trade that we don't lose money in is a good trade. But a lot of what I've been reading talks about how for oil there is a 15 tick rotation. And you see here, this was 14 from down here to up here. That's what this number means. This number means how far did it go from the last low to the most recent high. So we're quickly turning off from up here. But anyway, so one of the things I was reading talks about 15 ticks, and that's a number that is kind of kind of what we're watching for rotations. But excuse me, from what I can tell from the trading that the screen time I put in, what I am potentially going to do, so right now we took this trade with only one contract. So what I'm doing is here's my entry, here's my ultimate profit target, and I'm not really messing around with it. One of the things that I've been considering is I've been noticing that 10 ticks, whether it be a rotation or based on where we seem to enter the trades, 10 ticks seems to be a spot where we tend to get to, come away from, and then get to again or go through it if it turns out that we are ultimately right in the trade. So one of the things that I'm considering doing, which would have worked out really nicely now, is so hang on, let's make this bigger because we are now still looking for another entry here. We might actually end up entering right around where we just got stopped out because we came below VWAP. Now we can. So it's all right. It's all at this point that stop actually looks good. But remember, this is still the support level that we're watching. So coming down here, trading beneath it, closing above it, and we have 144 ticks before this candle closes. But potentially closing above it. This is again setting up as a decent trade entry. All right, so nothing has set up yet for us. But what I was getting at was that 10 tick, taking our first profit at 10 tick and then looking to re-enter on a rotation down, which is exactly what's happening here, that seems to would have worked out for us a couple times. So now let's take a look at what's happening here. So we're testing beneath here. This potentially now is turning into the another hypothesis that we had out there, which was going to be an open push above, fail, not get all the way up here, but that's not what's happening yet. So we still have this hold the support. We traded below it, we closed above it. We haven't started putting in any volume beneath here. We're right in the middle of the day right now. So right now, this is kind of a 50-50 type of thing. We've pushed through the VWAP, so that's currently not being respected as support or resistance. We're sitting at the middle of the day. We've attempted to trade beneath this former swing, and right now we're not really trading beneath it. We're trading at it. So we had a spike down below it, turned back up, and now we're just sitting here. It's only a few ticks, but that's what happened. And what we're looking for is if this candle closes strongly, I would look at that as a good entry opportunity. We are starting to form potentially divergence. We don't really know if it will be divergence until we get back up here. We're also forming a head and shoulders pattern here, where if we bounce back up and we kind of slow down back towards this opening range high, that can create the right shoulder for a potential short opportunity there too. So we just gotta wait and see what happens. So my profit targets, I don't intend to only trade one contract. For now, I'm much more interested in reading the chart than I am with am I closing my trades out for a huge profit or not, because number one thing with charts is entries and knowing which ones to avoid and making sure that you're getting in at good pricing. That is that is my priority right now, is good entries. And actually this might be setting up as one. So if we can close this candle a little bit stronger, we are not right now. Sorry, I'm just getting through a lozenge here. Okay, so we're coming underneath that swing before. We're now trading below middle of the day, VWAP, moving average. No real trade setup here. At least not to my eye. Just kind of got to wait this out now. So back to what I was saying. So when I'm trading several contracts, my first profit target is going to be 10 ticks. That's a number that, for some reason, it seems to me that when we enter trades, the way we're finding them, 10 ticks is a good number for us to use as our starting profit target. After that, after those 10 ticks, whatever I have left will get moved to break even, and then at that point, my profit targets are going to be based on price levels, like this microcomposite VPOC, this overnight high. So let's talk about what we're looking at right now. We've come below middle of the day. We've come below VWAP. We've come below this swing. We'd like this. Now we want to see, are we going to actually do some trading beneath it? Spend a little bit of time down here and potentially tell us it's time to go short. Or I think another thing that we could see happen right now is we one more time try to make the push up. I'd love to see it come up towards around here. We do have divergence on the 610. We do have divergence on the 987. We don't yet have it on the 1597. You know, I should finish making my charts. It's kind of hard to see this way. Maybe I think we're going to split the charts vertically. So, you know, I'll do that in a minute because actually it looks like we are potentially setting up for a decent trade here. What I'm looking at now is we pushed up towards the VWAP. The VWAP did hold the support here. We came through it and it held its resistance here. We're looking at a good short opportunity here. And again, that can change in an instant, you know. So for now, that's what we're looking at. We had our push. My assumption was a push up towards the microcomposite VPOC, which also is very close to the overnight high. Overnight high is always an important level. So we had a push, we failed, we retraced, held VWAP, pushed again, failed again, made our way down, and now if you know, if we made our efforts to come above here and try to get to this microcomposite VPOC, ooh, might have just missed my entry here. That's okay. Since we didn't test overnight high, next expectation is going to be we test overnight low. So, but right now we are kind of in the no man's land of trade entry here, right at the middle of the day. This can really turn either way from here, so we just kind of got to be patient. So, first trade, very happy with. You know, we got into it all the right reasons. Definitely had our 10 ticks for first profit target. It did not ultimately reach where our second and maybe third profit target would be, depending on how many contracts and what we were looking at. But we also did the right thing by moving our stop to break even. So after we got to our 10 ticks, the stop came to break even. So the trade break even plus one. So that trade ended up not costing us any money. Any trade that doesn't cost you money is a successful trade. You know, so one other thing that we're seeing here is these candles. We've only had two close below this swing low. All these other ones are long candles that are, you know, even though this one closed below here, it came real far down and tried to get back above it. This one started here, pushed way above it. This one came all the way down, pushed back above it. These are actually those are actually potentially strong signs. But again, for where we're sitting right now, I am not. I'm really not seeing any type of trade to be had, which now lets me mess around my chart some more. Okay, so actually this time what we do. Oh, no, no. Sorry for all this fussing around. Hmm. Let's just get our prices back on here. So just real quick recap. Looks like the support is still holding here. So we have created divergence. We've actually lost our what look to potentially be divergence. So, I stand corrected. We didn't lose anything. I had these backwards. So we still have potentially divergence. I think if we were to make a push towards the high now, we would lose that divergence. I don't think we would stay because we'd be printing new BBs down in those bottom in these three boxes here. We'd be printing all new information. We still don't really even have divergence on the 1597. Um, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, like I said, we kind of got stuck right at the middle of the day. Really, no trading for us to be there. But that the best thing we could have done there is stay patient. So I'm quite happy with the fact that we did, or I did, whatever. Once again, wick below the support level, uh, potentially close above it. Um, uh, things are going to look confusing for a second, so sorry about that. But I just want to. Nope. All right, so we've had a clear break of this um, swing here. No trade setup, no trade setup there. At least at least not to me. This fight here just um, I didn't see a trade setup there. Let's take a look at where we can expect this to go for Fibonacci extension. And to here, 51.97, right towards the opening of the day, the current low of the day. And then we still have yesterday's close and yesterday's low as potential support down here. Let's take a look. And we have overnight low down here. So this whole region here is a potential buying zone if it sets up. We're not just going to start throwing trades in to buy. We do have positive divergence. If you look at where the BBs were when we came down here before versus where they are now, we definitely have positive divergence. We're also testing and holding the zero line on all of the BB charts. That's kind of interesting. You don't usually see that. That's kind of cool. So let's take a look at what we're looking at here. And right now, I am going to take a long here. And my stop price is going to come down beyond today's open. This one might be a little premature, but this is what's called a second entry long. Again, I'm not going to bother going into that too much right now. But the reason, so let's also, again, I don't necessarily expect it to come all the way up here, but we'll do exactly what we did before. We're going to watch it. We'll put our one profit target up here for now. Remember, when we see this get to 10 ticks, we're going to move our stop to break even. I am also willing to scale into this a little bit here. I would love to at least capture all three of these, meaning I want my stop price to be below yesterday's low for scaling. So where are we at now? 52.09. So that's what third tick. That's a little far. That's I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay. Oh, no. So what I would do in this case is I'm going to make my stop 52 even. Not really crazy. The, this actually, this is not a great trade entry here. In fact, so much so I'm going to close this, regardless of where this goes. I don't care if this goes in my favor or not. The reason this is not a good entry is to have a good stop price. You don't want to be right above the open because we can easily test the open. You don't want to be right above yesterday's close. We can easily test that. You don't want to be right above yesterday's low. We can easily test that. So there's just, in order for me to get a good stop price, I really need to be below 51.90 for my stop. To it's even below here, which is what 87. So really 85 should be my stop. 82. This 52 is about where I should be trying to get in to a trade if something ultimately sets up there. So I don't care if this turns around right now and goes back up in my favor. That trade location just doesn't work. That was almost the impatient bug biting me in the butt there. And you have to realize, even if this trade does go, it's not just the fact that okay, we had a good entry price, we read the chart right. It's what's my risk. My risk on this trade would legitimately have to be over 30 ticks. My first profit target is only 10. I'm risking three times the amount that I potentially will be making. So that's a no no. And actually, tell you the truth, I'm much more interested. See, like, here's our swing high before. If, and right now it's not, but if we had a short setup here, also keep in mind, I do like that we had a push. I do like that we were. Oh, excuse me. Oh man, do I feel like shit? I do like that we had a push down, another push down, and then the spring back, which is kind of what we were looking at as a potential when we had the second entry long right here. Again, I will teach you guys that, but right now it's not something that's that important. I'm only saying it because I plan on watching these videos again myself. All right, so let's set up another chart here. Oh, okay. So I'm messing around on a another monitor, so as not to take the price away from what you guys can see. So close here. That kind of sucks. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, no. Okay. Let's try to get these as even as possible. All right, that's pretty good. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's just take a look back here at oil. Oil is on the left, and I'm going to change the background colors to make it real obvious for us to. Oopsie. Sorry. So we continue trading our way up. So exactly, I don't have a way to play back what we recorded, but if you remember, one of the areas we talked about was yesterday's value area low, since we were opening outside of value, which was 52.24. We came up and we held there almost perfectly. Not all, I mean, that's perfect. We held there twice, tick below, tick above. We One of the expectations was we were going to do that, and then we're going to come test this swing or somewhere in this area and push our way up. Now, we didn't do that. What we did is we came all the way up and we tested almost back to the opening of the day, and we held. All right, so the let me turn this back on here, sorry. And while that was happening, if we take a look at the BBs, we had no divergence from here to here, which led to us, which originally was leading us to believe that it's a strong sign. Okay, so, and remember, the BBs are just one part of it. Most important to me are levels and where it is that we're trading. And you can see, a lot of trading around this middle of the day and this swing low. So there's indecisiveness so far. All right, and now you're seeing why we couldn't take that trade before, because right now, our as it heads against us, the level of risk we would have had to endure is just crazy. So let's see here. Let's make this a little bit easier to see. There we go. Okay. So let's go back to what we're talking about on in this region. And I guess I do need to see more of this. Let's go back to what we're talking about here. So we still have, from back here, we still have divergence. However, if we look at this swing low to this swing low, we do not have divergence. So I would much more um, likely, much more happily, and honestly, if I was not fussing around with the charts, we did just miss a decent potential trading entry up here, but that's okay. I'm much more interested now in seeing a retest from the bottom now, a retest towards exactly what we just did, really. Swing low, middle of the day, which is kind of hidden underneath here right now. VPOC, swing low, VWAP. All of this is in this area. So this will be one spot I'd like to get short. I would wait to see it push above it because that's exactly what it's been doing. It hasn't been, this has not been acting as true resistance. We've just been kind of coiling around it, and the one of the rules are the longer we coil, at that point, most likely the larger the move. Okay, let's finish putting up these charts here. Actually, I'm gonna put an order in here to sell the spikes up here again. All right. But yeah, charts. Let's go. Finish making these. Once I have these done today, we won't have to deal with watching me fumble around with this anymore. Give me 1 second. It's gonna change real quick. So I need 41, 81, 67, 65. Oh, I see. Um, just real quick, still have my order pending to get a short if we come test towards the high of this channel. I'm actually going to come down one tick. I might have just missed it. Hey. So keep in mind, I am trading on a demo mode, so sometimes, okay, sometimes you'll see something where you would think, hey, he should have gotten into a trade here, and it didn't. It didn't. That's a lot of times that is because it's a demo mode, and they try to make it a little more difficult to get into trades, just so you can be as realistic as possible and as accurate as possible. Okay, so um, we're in our short. Our profit target right now is going to be the bottom of the range. We're actually going to make it 10 ticks. Bottom of the range is 02. 2 above that is 04. That's 11 ticks. I'm actually going to make it 10. Let's talk about here what we would do if we had more than one contract. So we would still, one contract, we would still be looking to take off here at 10 ticks. And this is not just because it's 10 ticks, it's also because it's towards the bottom of the range. But if we were looking to try to extend this and see where potentially we can go from here, the open of the day is 51.99. So 52.01 would be another potential profit target. Might be a little bit too close to count. At that point, I might as well just close them both 10 ticks. But after that, we have yesterday's close, yesterday's low, and this swing low from overnight. So 87, 90. So, probably somewhere in the 90, 95, 96 range. So another 9, 10 ticks from where our first profit target is. Well, let's take a look and see what happens. Actually, at this point, there's really nothing for me to do. So, I would also, considering the divergence that we have, I would also be willing to scale in here. In fact, I should put some of those in underneath the opening range high, which is where I think we might have the potential for head and shoulder setting up. Put that at 21. Above that is the high of day. Okay, so the ES is moving around a little bit, which is why. So we should be out right now. Okay, here we go. Nice trade. I don't know how I ended up putting that into 12 ticks. I think I misread where the order was put in, but that's okay. I'm not looking to go long here at this point, even though this is the bottom of a channel. Right now, I actually do believe we're more likely to be heading down than heading up. Not that I give a shit what I believe. It's just strictly from what I see from the BBs. So that was a nice little trade. That's 2 for the day. 2 good ones. Okay, great profit target. You see how it got to where we wanted to get out, turn right around from there. That's not to say it's not going to continue to head back up, but that one really, and you could see, we've been, that 15 tick rotation we've been talking about earlier, 15, 15, 15, 14, 14. That's pretty, that's pretty, pretty accurate, that 15 tick. All right, so let's, no, here we go. Actually, I'm going to pay attention now to this for a minute. Although, with what just happened, with us pushing towards the close, yesterday's close, going through today's open, we haven't really held it yet. Looks like we're going to try to. BVs are all pointing down. Right now there is no good long opportunity. We would only be looking for a short. So our timing here really would have been great with the multiple contracts. We would have been out at one where we talked about that 10. It turned out to be, I think it was a little more than 10 ticks. We would have been out the second one at yesterday's close, and third one we would be using as a runner, which you'd still be into right now. Now, all that being said, remember beneath us we still have overnight low, which will be another potential level of support. And I'm going to take this opportunity to finish up my charts. Okay. So what do I need still? I need this guy. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at what's happening. So still nothing to tell us to even attempt to try to go long here. We are going to potentially look to see if a short sets up. We would need a pullback. I'd like to see it up towards middle of the day. I would be willing to start paying attention towards the opening of the day, especially as this moving average comes down closer to it. Maybe this VWAP starts to trade down closer to it, although we'd have to put a fair amount of volume in here to do that. I'm going to start trying to remember that now that I am recording these, I'm going to start trying to remember not to just say comments that need explanation, like what I just said about how we would need to put volume in here for the VWAP to move down, until I know that more of you guys understand what that means. So, excuse me. Excuse me again. Okay, so let me do my last chart. Last thing I need right now. All right, take a look at what's happening on oil while I mess around here. We traded up towards yesterday's close. We're going to start watching here for potential short setups. The other thing we're going to start looking at is, well, let me finish saying first. The other thing we're going to start looking at is going to be divergence down here, down here, down here, for a potential spot to buy as we pull back down. But this is kind of a level that we were starting to talk about. See, the moving average has made its way down. We're sitting we tested the opening of the day. Happened a little quick. I didn't really see a trade there. There's not enough here for me to feel confident to just put an order out. Although now I'm looking at it, actually there should be. Let's see. If we start going in here, regular open, 51.99. Let's say we want to be 2 ticks above that, 51.97. Our stop prices have to be way up here. We really want to be behind these swings for our stops, and that's 52.17. So what we would need to do in order for that to be the case, we really want to start trying to enter closer towards the middle of the day VWAP. Still this swing low. So we're gonna wait for a little bit more of a push, and I'm gonna say we're gonna start trying to get in here. We're gonna use VWAP. We're gonna go with 06. And I'm gonna be fairly willing to move that down a couple more ticks if we get up here. But this would be the first spot that I'd be looking to potentially get into. I also would be willing to add into this trade at 11 and say let's call it 15. Yeah, okay. actually going to take this down one. Okay. Now we might not ever get there. You know, the open of the day might turn into the spot that is going to hold, but it's just too risky of a trade. It's just too risky of a trade right there. And you know that's the key, and this is the part that I'm not very good at, but I'm going to continue to practice till I get better. Is knowing what trades to pass on. Remember, we had a trade earlier today, which I believe was right. Well, actually, I'll find it with the second entry long. So give me a second. Here, no, I think it was after this. No, yeah, it's here. So we had a trade that we were looking at. We ended up getting into it at I believe 909 ish. Sorry guys, I'm trying to remember what that. No, it was here. No, no, not there. Sorry. There's our first, second entry. Okay, it is here. Oh nine, right? And we had said we're in order for us to hit our profit target, we have to come above the last swing high, which was 19. Ooh, hang on. Wait, in my okay, so too early. So what I'm looking at is we have divergence here in the 610. We do not have divergence here in the 987. So this might be setting up for a decent spot to go long. Probably should have been paying attention. I probably should have been into one position right now. Sorry about that. But what I was getting at, the whole reason for me to take away my attention there was we we got into it along here. We ended up closing pretty much immediately because after getting into it, we looked at it and said, okay, look, to get our 10 tick profit target, we got to be up here. So we got to break this swing high. All right, not the greatest thing in the world. However, to really protect ourselves, what we need our stop price to be below is not just the opening of the day, but all of this, the close, yesterday's low, potentially even all the way to the overnight low. It was just such a huge amount of risk to the downside that we ended up closing the trade. So the point I'm getting at is we just had another one here where we came up to this opening range low, and and the open of the day, and we talked about okay, let's see if it comes up there. Maybe we'll start looking to get a short. And then as we're looking at it, we said, well, shit, if we get a short here, where's my stop? My stop's got to be way over these swings. So I'm not comfortable with getting into a part of my position here. I'd rather be above the mid, or even it would be even better to be below the mid. But again, at that point, I'm taking on too much risk. So I'm looking at this entire area as potential resistance zone. Now, while I was showing you that, what we missed was this bit of divergence down here. We should be into one contract right now off of the previous low. We should be in at 86. We would not have been out yet, but we should be into one contract here. Okay, so now let's make sure I have everything set up the way I want. Okay. So one of the things I want to do to make it easy for us is I'm going to change in a minute. I'm going to change the background color. Okay. All right, so at this point, we would be out of our 10 ticks here, 96. We held it a double top here. I'm still not taking a short up here. It's just not worth the risk. And it could go in our favor right now. It could go down, push towards yesterday's overnight low, but still, it's just not. It's not worth the risk. So I'm pretty much going to be done for the day right now. So I'm going to cancel these. But when you hear me talk about something like this, when I say, "Oh shoot, I was messing around, I would have been in a trade here," you're welcome to question that for now, and you'll see over time. But this is the setup that we're looking for. We're looking for pushing down to a key level. So we've come through the close, we've come through the low. We're sitting above overnight low. We're looking for a move away from it, and then divergence forming here. So let me clarify this a little bit. And you can see, sorry, there we go. I'll widen it out a little so you can see it better. But if you take a look, here we come to our low, we come away from it, we come back to it, we retest the low with divergence. Now, we don't have as clear cut a case of the divergence in the 987, a slightly longer chart. All right, so I probably wouldn't enter in as much of a position, but I certainly would be entering something. And like I said, your entry price should have been 86, and your tentative profit target would have been 96. And if you had more than one, if you had more than one contract, you currently would be holding at a break even for the rest of them, and then your profit targets above here could be something along the lines of the middle of the day VWAP. this opening range mid swing low, so you can spread your profit targets out by a good 5-6 ticks up, 5-6 ticks up here, and then if you have one last one, you can keep it for a run up. My profit targets tend to be a little more conservative than I think some other people that are looking to catch longer trades, meaning are willing to sit in the trades for longer. But the reason for that is I'm constantly looking for the next trade, meaning now that I've gotten out of one of these at 10 ticks, I'll tell you what, with the way the divergence is, new low is 83, so 85. Let's say I was in one, and let's say I was in three originally. I came and I closed one. Oh, come on. Well, I can tell you without question, if we were live, I am long this. I was actually watching the bid in the ass on my other screen. No doubt about it. I would be in this trade right now. But again, I don't really care. I'm more interested in the timing than I am the record keeping. So I don't care if I look back at my journal today and say, "Oh no, it didn't film me." That's irrelevant. It's the timing that matters to me. So at this point, you would be in 86. Your profit target would be here 96, and I'm not using that as a short entry. I'm using that as a profit target. Now this is a pretty tight range here. This is a fairly aggressive trade, and actually, to tell you the truth, if I was in this trade right now, I'd close it. Because I don't really see anything here. I don't really see anything here. This first trade makes more sense because we don't know that it's going to come right back up here and stop. This particular trade, I would have been, I don't know, maybe made 3 ticks, 4 ticks, whatever it was. But I actually would have closed this now because seeing it is forming a nice bottom here, but seeing that it held up here, if it doesn't really get almost exactly to the top, I'm not going to get my profit target. And again, I think I'd be taking too much risk in this trade for that. So that would have been what's considered a scalp trade, a very quick trade. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have taken it, shouldn't have taken on the risk, but that's okay. What you could do in a trade like this, when you're looking at it and saying, all right, look, I'm only expecting 5, 6, 7 ticks, forget getting all the way to the top of the range, but then your stop price goes right beneath this low here, so you're only having what would be a 3 or a 4 tick stop for a 5 or a 6 tick profit target. Not really something I'm all that interested in doing, so that's why I'm saying I probably should not have been in that trade. still have still have divergence along the 610. We do not have divergence on the 987 whatsoever, and we're about to lose it on the 610 as well. So coming down, testing the next key level here, the overnight low. And at this point, I will be done trading for the day. Now let me just finish cleaning up these charts. Broke overnight low. If I remember right, we're looking to test all the way down at around 5140-ish. There was a couple of VPOCs there and a high volume node. So at this point, we would be looking for some type of decent short opportunities. But like I said, I am done for the day. I want to see if I can't find a nice way to make these charts work for us. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, so at this point, I'm going to stop the recording. I should have done that earlier. All right.